Hi, my name is Brandy Horn. I'm an Instruction and Reference Librarian at the Greg Graniteville Library. The purpose of this video is to give you a very quick overview of the library's website and the tools and resources that are available to you there. The first thing I would like to show you is how to get help from a librarian if you need it. We can help you with things like research and citations, and if you pay attention to our website, there are multiple places where you can click to find out how to get in touch with us. One of the first ways, or the first way I want to show you, is on the right hand side. There's a tab that says Chat with the Librarian. If you click on that, a chat box pops out and you can ask questions there. The librarians in the Greg Graniteville Library staff the chat from 12 to 5 Monday through Friday, but we contract out with another entity to staff it the rest of the time. And so you have access to research help 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and also from 8 a.m. to midnight on Saturday and Sunday. So most of the times that you could possibly want help with research or citations, you have help available to you through the chat. Other ways that you can get in touch with us, in these red boxes up under the center search box, you'll see that there is a Book a Librarian box. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I'm going to click on this Ask a Librarian box first. And in the Ask a Librarian box, you see all the different ways that you have access to the librarians for help. Again, we have chat. We have that Book a Librarian option, which again, we're going to talk about in a second. And then we have this option to email us. If you click this link, it takes you to a form. You can enter your question. You'll select that you want to ask a librarian via email, enter your email address, your name, and your phone number. And this will come to all the librarians, and someone will get in touch with you with a response to your question. Now, it does say at the top of this form that questions submitted will typically be answered within 24 hours, but then it says except on weekends and holidays. So the way to think about this is if you were to submit a question to us at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, there's a good chance that you would hear from us pretty quickly. But if you send us a question at 7 p.m. on a Friday or a Saturday, there's a good chance you won't hear from us till Monday. Again, if you need a more prompt response, you always have access to the chat. But if it's not that big of a deal, you just have a question, you need it answered, but there's no real rush, then you have this form available to you. Now, the other option that you have is to book a librarian. This is so that you can schedule an appointment with the librarian. We set this up over the summer to kind of facilitate the process. Excuse my dog's barking. To facilitate the process for students of setting up research appointments with librarians. So when you click on the Book a Librarian option, you see under Select a Librarian, there are some different appointment options. A full research appointment is basically an hour. Quick research help is basically 30 minutes. If you need citation assistance, again, that's about 30 minutes. And then also questions like off-campus login help or just general library assistance, general library tech assistance. You also have the option of selecting a specific librarian. So if you know that a particular librarian taught your class library instruction or something like that, you know, or you've worked with somebody before, you're welcome to select someone. Also, each librarian has kind of areas of expertise, and you can click on the information button to see what those areas of expertise are. But for the most part, all of the librarians should be able to help you with your research in pretty much any class, particularly this class that you're taking with Dr. Miller. So you don't necessarily need to select a librarian. So you can leave it on no preference, and you see what days are available, and you can select a day, and you see what times are available, and then you click continue. You will follow this process through, and once you've completed it, an email will be generated to both you and the librarian, basically saying this appointment has been set for this date and time. If that email does not contain it, you will receive another email that will contain a link to a Microsoft Teams space, okay? Because we're handling these types of research interactions virtually or remotely. So we're handling all these kinds of things through video chat or email or, whatever. But you will have this email that confirms your appointment and should contain a link to a Microsoft Teams room. If we go back to the Ask a Librarian page, you'll notice that there's not really a phone number here. You have a phone number for login issues, but we removed the phone number from this page because the way we're staffing the reference office right now, with the COVID precautions, there's not a guarantee that there's anyone in the office at any given point. But that doesn't mean that we won't talk on the phone at all. If you initiate, reference help via phone or not via phone, excuse me, via email or whatnot, and we decide that it would be easier to talk on the phone, we can always do that. But we don't have an actual phone number listed on the reference page. So those are the different ways that you can get help from a librarian. You can chat with us, you can email us, and you can book a research consultation. Going back to the library's homepage, some other things that I want to show you on this page. Again, you have the Book a Librarian box here. But what you also need to pay attention to is this Off-Campus Access box. Okay, so when we click on this, it shows us that in order to log into the library's resources, you need to use your network username, which is the first part of your email. Okay, the first part of your email up to the @, that is your network username, and then your password is your Blackboard password. If you try to access the library's resources with your VIP, it will not work. Okay, you have to use your network username and your Blackboard password. Now, I strongly encourage you to try this as soon as possible. Okay, the next time you're at home and you're on your computer, go ahead and try logging into the library's databases. If it does not work, come back to this page. We have troubleshooting off-campus access. We have it presented in 3 different ways. We have it written out, we have a nice infographic on the right, and then we've got a video on the left. These are to walk you through the troubleshooting steps to get your credentials to work with the library's resources. Probably your problem, or probably the solution, will be one of 2 things. You will either have to reset your password, which is best case scenario because that's easy to do, or you will have to reclaim your account, which is still not difficult, but it takes longer and it's more tedious. Probably takes about 10 or 15 minutes. You're going to have to answer security questions. You may have to reset, set up your Duo. But those are the 2 most common barriers to accessing library resources off campus. So if you try to access a library database with your credentials and you know you're entering your credentials correctly, come back to this page, follow these steps, and again, you'll either probably reset your password or reclaim your account. If you have trouble with that, you can reach out to us. But if you follow the instructions that we provide and it still doesn't work, you'll probably need to contact the help desk and find out if there's a more fundamental issue with your credentials. Back to the library's homepage, another thing I want to show you very quickly. At the top, under Research, when you mouse over it, you get this drop-down menu. If we click on Citations, we see that the primary citation styles are represented here. So whichever one you're using for your paper, let's say you're using MLA, okay? We have a quick reference guide, which if you click on that, for the MLA guide, it shows you the core elements and gives you a quick rundown of how to use those. And then on the inside, it shows you examples of the most common types of things you might cite, including articles from databases with a DOI and without a DOI. And across the top, we have an example of a journal article from a database with the DOI, with the different elements of the citation identified so that you can see how it all pieces together. Okay, so we have these quick reference guides, which are very useful in trying to figure out how to craft your citations. We also have this next tab, video tutorials, which will walk you through the steps of piecing together these different citations. So if it's 3 a.m. and you're trying to put together a citation and we're not awake, that's fine. You have these video tutorials that'll walk you through it. Citation basics for the MLA page. Again, it talks about the core elements, how they work, and it talks about what containers are and what locations are, and provides examples that link to the actual MLA style guide page. So we have this, and we have some links on the right-hand side, and then we have some resources for paper formatting. So you have some resources for citation assistance available through the website. This is an English class that you're taking. You should probably also have a copy of Easy Writer, which is a useful resource as well. We also have a copy of the manual in the library. And then, of course, as I said, you always have access to the librarians. We can help you with citations. Also, just very quickly on the library's homepage, I'll show you that in this center search box, this is how you will find information in the library. The Books and More is the default tab, right? That's how you search the library's catalog. These videos are for 101 class and some 201 classes. So those of you in the 201 classes, you've probably had library instruction before. So I will prepare you. We transitioned to a new catalog over the summer, and it looks very different. And as part of the resources that I provide your professor for this class, one of those will be an overview of how to use the catalog. So I recommend taking a look at that. The catalog is different, but also a cool thing about it is that no longer are you limited to just searching for books. It allows you to search across all of our databases as well. So you can find a lot more. But that said, it will deliver a ton of stuff, like hundreds and thousands of things, which is probably too much. So I'm still going to recommend that you focus on subject-specific databases to have more of a handle on your research. But if you need it, the catalog is there for you. The second tab, we also have this database list. It's an alphabetical listing of all 300 plus databases that we have access to. If you know exactly which databases would be the most useful to you, you can always navigate directly to them through this list. But as I've mentioned, our databases are mostly subject specific. So if you don't know which ones would be appropriate, then I recommend you instead go to this middle tab, which is research guides. And what we have here in the dropdown is an alphabetical listing of guides according to subject. And each subject guide has resources specific to that subject area. And when you click on a specific research guide, let's say nursing, once you're in the guide, you'll see that there is a tab that says Find Articles, and that is where you will find a list of databases specific to that subject area. And so you can go through and search those databases to find articles for your research. So if you don't know, if you have a specific topic in mind and you don't know which databases would be best to find information, we have these research guides. These are your starting points for your research in these areas. They provide a sort of platform to get you going. And that is what I want to show you regarding the library's homepage, just to get us started. There will be some other videos following this one, so don't stop here. But if you have any questions about anything that I've shown you, feel free to reach out to me or any of the librarians. Again, by all means, you can use library chat, and we'll be happy to help you.